we are on the final stretch of the Copa Libertadores. After some intense games and a lot of drama, the quarterfinals are over. Only the best 4 teams remain, and they'll have to fight their way into the grand final in Buenos Aires. Which is why here in Rank Talks Bowl, we're gonna predict the first leg of the semifinals of the Copa Libertadores 2024. After securing a 1-0 lead at home, the reigning champions Fluminense had to travel away to Belo Horizonte to play against Atlético Mineiro. And while I was expecting El Galo to take the initiative, I was not ready for the sheer ferocity of their attack. As only 5 minutes into the game, Guilherme Arana put in a cross inside the box which hit the extended arm of John Arias, giving Mineiro a penalty. But once again, the 43-year-old wonderkid that is Fabio would come up clutch, saving the attempt from Huki and denying Atlético Mineiro the chance to level the tie early on. One would think that this would destroy the morale of Mineiro and that the momentum would shift all the way over to Fluminense. But El Flu did not wake up and Mineiro kept dominating and having the better chances. Left, right and center, and Fluminense had no response to the barrage of shots that were coming their way. In the 30th minute they got saved again when a missile from Bataglia smashed against the post. And only 6 minutes later, Lianco would slide in a pass inside the box which Fabio was unable to clear, but Arana's shot found the defense of Thiago Silva, who made the goal line clearance. In total, it was 4 big chances for Mineiro in the first half with no goals. But in the second half, the home team finally got what they deserved, as in the 50th minute, Scarpa put in a cross for substitute Daverson to head it in and make it 1-0 for Mineiro. If Fluminense looked asleep at first, now they were stunned. They couldn't keep hold of the ball, and Mineiro were the ones still creating more opportunities. In fact, only 4 minutes later, Paulinho couldn't keep his shot down from 4 yards out and sent it over the crossbar after a pass from Daverson. I could keep talking about every single chance that Atlético Mineiro wasted in this game, but the video would be like 30 minutes long. But what shocked me was the lack of response of the reigning champions, who had 0 shots on target throughout the entire game, but by some miracle they were still taking the game to penalties. But for once, justice was served in football, as in the 88th minute, Huki put in a cross for Daverson to appear on the far post and score his second of the night to be the hero for Atlético Mineiro, eliminating Fluminense and sending El Galo to the semifinals, where they will play against River Plate, who after a hard-fought 1-1 draw in Santiago, they received Colo-Colo in Buenos Aires. Just like in the first leg, the Chilean team was very combative and went toe-to-toe with the Argentinians, but the difference maker was once again the set pieces. As in the 16th minute, from a free kick, Acuña put in a cross inside the box which was cleared away, but the ball landed at the feet of Santiago Simón, who saw Facundo Colidio making a run and crossed it perfectly for the striker to give River the lead. And to be honest, the rest of the game was pretty dull. Colo-Colo managed to have more of the ball, but they couldn't really do anything with it. River controlled the game and even had a few more opportunities in the counter-attack, and if it wasn't for Arturo Vidal's housing, this would have been a very forgettable match. River's only flaw was not scoring a second goal, as it left the tie open until the end. As in the 95th minute, Emiliano Amor had the final chance for Colo-Colo, but his header was easily contained by Armani. We say goodbye to Fluminense and Colo-Colo, and now River will have to travel away to Brazil, which hasn't been easy for Argentinian teams in recent years. But Mineiro need way too many chances to score, so I think this game will end in a draw. After a 0-0 draw in Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo and Botafogo faced off in the Morumbi. El Fogao really struggled with their finishing in the first leg, but that was not the case in this game. As in the 15th minute, in the first chance of the game, Savarino put in a cross which was poorly cleared by goalkeeper Rafael, and Thiago Almada was left all alone to head in the rebound and give Botafogo the lead. After a few minutes of confusion, Sao Paulo began pushing for an equalizer, but in doing so they were leaving themselves exposed at the back, which gave Botafogo the chance to double the lead a few times through counter-attacks. But near the end of the first half, the home team would get an opportunity, as a handball inside the box by Barbosa gave Sao Paulo a penalty. But Lucas Moura skied his penalty, wasting the chance to equalize. In the second half, Sao Paulo dominated with Botafogo shyly attempting to get another goal in transition, but it was the tricolor the one creating more danger. Like in the 60th minute when Luciano Neves fired a shot which found Jonathan Caleri all alone in the far post, but the striker missed the open net in front of him. Only 2 minutes later, Lucas Moura with a brilliant solo run had a great chance that was saved by John Victor. Sao Paulo were running low on steam and time, and it seemed like Botafogo were gonna cruise their way to the semi-finals. But as always, the legend of Botafogo returned, and in the 88th minute André put in a pinpoint cross for Jonathan Caleri to head it in and level the tie 1-1. The end of the game was dramatic, with both teams having chances to win it and a brawl breaking out inside of the pitch among the players. But there was nothing to separate the two teams, and so the game went to penalties, where Caleri went from hero to villain in a matter of minutes, as after scoring the equalizer to force the shootout, he smashed his attempt against the crossbar. The series was 3-3, with Vitinho having the chance to give Botafogo a match point, but he sent his penalty to Narnia, giving Sao Paulo a lifeline. After both Luciano Neves and Thiago Almada converted, the series went to sudden death, where Rodrigo Nestor had his attempt saved by John Victor, and Mateus Martins was able to score the penalty that sent Botafogo to the semi-finals, where they are going to play against Peñarol, who after an impressive 1-0 win in the Maracanã against Flamengo, now had to hold the line in Montevideo. And they took those instructions very literally, as Peñarol barely had any of the ball in the first half, allowing El Mengao to be the one dictating play. But Flamengo were barely creating any chances. Besides a header from Gonzalo Plata in the second minute, the team managed by Chichi did not have another shot on target in the first half. Peñarol's midfield and defense were doing a great job keeping Flamengo's playmakers at bay, and they weren't really suffering much despite not having the ball. The second half was almost the same, but over time Flamengo began switching their strategy to non-stop crosses inside the box, which were much harder to defend, and headers from Gerson and Bruno Enrique went just over the crossbar. But despite these close calls, Flamengo seemed to have no plan whatsoever, and they were getting more and more desperate as time ticked down. But in the 89th minute we had the only clear chance of the game, when Mateus Gonçalves put in a cross for Gavi Goal to once again be the hero, but Aguirre came out on top in the one-on-one, and there was no time left. Peñarol, one of the giants of the continent after 13 years, are in a Copa Libertadores semi-final. We say goodbye to Sao Paulo and Flamengo, who simply were not up to the task. And now this clash between Botafogo and Peñarol in Rio de Janeiro is gonna be fireworks, knowing how both teams like to play. I could see this one going either way, but trusting that they'll be more effective at home, I'm gonna give the win to Botafogo. And this is how my predictions are going. The second leg of the quarterfinals went much better for me than the first one, as I correctly predicted the outcome of all 4 games, bringing the total score to 68 correct predictions and 50 incorrect. Perfect stuff, and this obviously means that I'll finish with a positive record, but let's see just how many more I can get. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to not miss out on any more Copa Libertadores content. I'll be seeing you all next time.